you? Dr. Muso in the house. Today we want to talk about the National Assembly. We want to focus on the August decreases. What are we talking about? In the month of August, the revolutionaries, they met again. Ahoy, hoy, ahoy, hoy, hoy, hoy. Who can give us a song? Sing now. When they sang now, they to say that it was now time to come up with the laws that were supposed to be used in the country. Remember, before the revolution, Louis was once quoted as saying, "The state is myself." So they did not want a scenario in which the king was the law. So they wanted to come up with laws that were going to be applicable, that were going to be used in the country. So that is why they formulate this so-called the August decreases. So they could suggest these laws. Which laws did they suggest? Number one, they wanted people to be tried by jury. They wanted people to be tried by jury. If you committed an offense, you're supposed to go through the court of laws, and the court of laws were supposed to determine whether you were guilty or not guilty. They also wanted equality before. They also wanted equality before the law. Equality before what? The law. So they wanted all the people to be equal before the law. The law that was in the country, it favored the upper nobilities at the expense of the other people who were in the country. Then also move on. You also talk about number three. They also wanted federalism to end. Federalism was supposed to be abolished. So they wanted this system of federalism to be done away with, the system of relying on agriculture, which only benefited the upper nobilities at the expense of the other people who were in the country. So they wanted federalism to be abolished. Another issue is that they also wanted newspapers not to be censored. So you talk about newspapers, they were not supposed to be censored. Newspapers not to be censored. Not to be, not, so let's say, newspapers not to be censored. Newspapers, they were not supposed to be censored. Newspapers, they only talked about the goodness of Louis at the expense of what was taking place in the country. They also wanted liberalism, freedom of expression. So we talk also about freedom of expression. They wanted to be in a position of freely expressing themselves. They could not do so if you say anything that you to condemn Louis, it meant that he was supposed to be arrested. So they wanted liberalism to be there in the country. You also talk about the issue of elections. They also wanted elections. They also wanted people to be in a position of participating in elections. Elections were conducted in France, but the other classes, we see that they were counted as one vote. For example, the upper nobilities, they were counted individually, but when it came to other classes now, their vote was one. So these rich people, they were counted as individual, but the other classes now, we see that they were not counted as individual, they were regarded as a group. They wanted that system to be abolished, and they wanted all the people in the country to be in a position of participating in an election. So these are some of the laws, these are some of the decreases. A decree is a law that they came up on the August decreases. So when they came up with this now, they went to Louis so that they could sign. When Louis was going to sign, these laws were now going to be used in the country. They were going to start operating in the country. But Louis refused, but was forced by the revolutionaries to sign these so-called August decreases. After being forced by the revolutionaries, we see him signing the August decreases. When he signed the August decreases now, we see that the revolutionaries went a step further, and the next thing that we have now is the rights of men and citizens. Thank you so much. It's Dr. Muso.